Just a few days ago, 4 astronauts stepped inside a spacecraft called Integrity, and left Earth behind. Right now, as you watch this, they are traveling farther than any human has gone in more than 50 years. But here's the truth nobody talks about. Everything keeping them alive up there was paid for with human lives. Not money. Not time. Lives. We celebrate launches. We post pictures. We cheer countdowns. But we almost never talk about the cost. Because behind every successful mission, there are people who didn't make it back. And Artemis 2 didn't really start in 2026. It started decades ago, in a sealed capsule, filled with oxygen. When 3 astronauts were burned alive. Back in 1967, 3 men sat inside a spacecraft on a launch pad in Florida. They weren't flying that day. It was just a test. Routine. But inside that capsule, everything was wrong. Pure oxygen filled the cabin. Wires were poorly protected. Materials inside could catch fire easily. It was a disaster waiting to happen. Then suddenly, a spark. In normal air, it might have been nothing. But in pure oxygen, it became an explosion of fire. Within seconds, the cabin turned into an inferno. One of the astronauts tried to open the hatch. But it was designed in a way that took too long. Too many steps. Too slow. And in that moment, slow meant death. Outside, technicians rushed to help. But the heat and smoke pushed them back. By the time they got inside, it was over. All 3 were gone. That tragedy changed everything. Engineers discovered over 1,000 problems in that spacecraft. Think about that. Over 1,000. After that, NASA stopped everything. They redesigned the hatch. They removed flammable materials. They fixed wiring. They changed how oxygen was used. Every small detail. Rewritten because of those 3 men. And just 2 years later, humans landed on the moon. That tragedy changed everything. Engineers discovered over 1,000 problems in that spacecraft. Think about that. Over 1,000. After that, NASA stopped everything. They redesigned the hatch. They removed flammable materials. They fixed wiring. They changed how oxygen was used. Every small detail. Rewritten because of those 3 men. And just 2 years later, humans landed on the moon. But it didn't stop there. Only months later, another disaster. A cosmonaut launched into space, knowing his spacecraft had issues. Systems failed. Control was unstable. Still, he managed to bring it back toward Earth. But during landing, the parachute failed. The capsule hit the ground at high speed. He didn't survive. And the worst part? Engineers had already warned about these problems. But pressure, politics, urgency pushed the mission forward. Then came another tragedy. 3 astronauts returning from space. Everything seemed normal. The spacecraft landed safely. Perfectly. But when the rescue team opened the hatch, they found silence. All 3 were dead. A small valve had opened too early. And the air inside the cabin slowly escaped into space. They didn't even have time to react. After that, one rule became permanent. Astronauts would always wear pressure suits. No exceptions. Years passed. Technology improved. Confidence grew. And then, a shuttle lifted off. With 7 people on board. Among them, a school teacher. Millions of people were watching live. Then, just over a minute after launch, The shuttle broke apart. Destroyed in the sky. The reason? A small rubber seal. Cold weather made it stiff. It failed. Hot gases escaped. And everything was lost. Again. Warnings had been given. Engineers had concerns. But they were ignored. Because similar issues had happened before. And nothing went wrong. So it was seen as normal. Until it wasn't. Years later. The same mistake happened again. A small piece of foam hit a spacecraft during launch. It didn't seem serious. It had happened before. So no action was taken. Days later. During re-entry. That small damage turned deadly. The spacecraft broke apart in the sky. 7 more lives gone. That's when something changed. Not just the technology. But the mindset. From that point on. Delays became acceptable. Caution became priority. Fixing problems became more important than launching on time. And today. That's exactly why Artemis 2 exists. Every system inside that spacecraft. Every safety feature. Comes from lessons written in tragedy. The hatch opens quickly now. The materials resist fire. The suits protect against pressure loss. The heat shield is stronger. Nothing is accidental. Everything is a result of failure. Right now. Those 4 astronauts are traveling through space. Inside a machine built on decades of mistakes. And corrections. They are alive. Because others were not, there are many names we don't even know. Test pilots. Engineers. Workers. People who never made headlines. But their contribution is everywhere. In every safety check. In every design change. In every decision to delay a launch. Space is not forgiving. One small error can end everything. And humanity learned that. The hard way. Today, hundreds of people have gone to space. Some didn't return. And many more lost their lives preparing for it. Each one. A lesson. Each one. A warning. Now imagine this moment. 4 humans. Floating in silence. Far away from Earth. Protected by systems built from history. They will see something very few people have ever seen. They will go farther than most of humanity ever has. And they will come back. Because of everything we learned. The spacecraft they're in is called integrity. A name chosen for trust. For strength. For doing things the right way. But it also means something else. Wholeness. Because that spacecraft is whole. Only because every past failure was fixed. This mission didn't start days ago. It started in fire. In impact. In silence. In moments where people didn't come back. And the only way to respect them is to remember this. Every safe landing. Every successful mission exists because someone else paid the price. Space exploration is dangerous. It always will be. But because we learn. Because we change. Because we don't ignore mistakes anymore. People survive. And right now. Somewhere between Earth and the Moon. 4 people are alive. Because of that. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.